It's Tennessee Frank. Hey guys, what's going on? Tennessee Frank here. Been quite a while since I put a video out. Been dealing with some health issues. Yeah, got the jab last June, and about 2 weeks after that I started having some issues. So yeah, safe and effective, yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, just been getting over some things and kind of learning to live with some stuff. Ended up getting Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which really depletes your energy. I mean, it's hard to get out and do much of anything. So finally did get out and do some shooting. Got a Ruger Blackhawk 4 5/8 357 I took out shooting. I didn't get any targets though, or save any targets from it, but I'll get a video on it forthcoming. And also traded in my little Ruger Max 9 and picked up this Uberti. It's a Cattleman. Nice gun. I've been wanting to get into another single action. Of course, this is unloaded, so it's safe. But yeah, this is a lot like the gun that I took my concealed carry class with when I lived in Tennessee. Believe it or not, 45 Colt, 4 3/4 inch barrel. It was an EMF Dakota, but yeah, other than that, very, very similar. You can see the sights that are on it. Not a whole lot to write home about. I mean, they're real fine. I mean, it's hard to pick up the sights. And for the most part, these guns were not used a lot with sights, believe it or not. It was more like pull, point, and hope you hit the guy, because normally it was, you know, across a bar room or a poker table or something. Generally, you weren't shooting long distance with these. But I did get some Starline brass and made up some hand loads. Of course, you can see 45 Colt. That is the correct name for this cartridge. I know a lot of people want to call it 45 Long Colt. Technically, there is no such thing as a long Colt. There's 45 Colt, and then there's the shorter 45 Schofield cartridge, which in my way of thinking, the reason they started calling this the Long Colt was because people would go into a shop to get ammunition, and they said, yeah, I don't want that shorter Schofield round, I want the Long Colt round. So that kind of started sticking with this, but yeah, technically it is 45 Colt. Picked a couple of these up at work to carry spare ammo, Uncle Mike's. And of course, these just slip on your belt, slide your rounds in there. No fuss, no muss, gives you a way to carry a few extra rounds. Got a 1791 holster. You can wear this strong side or cross draw. I did have to get a new Chicago screw set because I lost the one screw, and originally this did not fit. I had to wet this and then take the gun and cram it in there and rebone everything in so that it would fit. And now you can see it fits just like a glove. It's beautiful now that it's been resized and it dried, and you know it fits. Let me see if I can get this back on the hanger. But yeah, 1791. They make some very high quality leather. As you know, I got a couple of them for my 1911s. I think I picked one up for another handgun I have. Can't recall which. But yeah, they do make some really good stuff though. It's just like this in this case. I did have to do some fitting. Loaded up 100 rounds of this, and first 6 out of the gate didn't do too awful bad. I mean, it is what it is right now. It's probably going to take some shooting for me to really get used to this gun. By the time we were done shooting, I shot another group of 6, and of course all this is from 7 yards. And you can see it's a little left, but as far as elevation, yeah, we're in there. From 7 yards, it's right in there. And the group was starting to tighten up. Like I said, it'd been a while since I've been shooting, and it normally takes me a little bit of shooting to kind of get my eye back. I know people think you don't have to shoot, and once you learn how, that's good enough, but you got to get out and practice. It's a perishable skill. You don't practice, then you lose it, and it takes a while to get it back. One thing on this, you notice it's a 1, 2, 3 click. It's not the traditional 4 click. There is no safety notch on this gun. You still got to put it on half cock to load it. But a neat thing about this, if you'll notice, this firing pin is floating. And what they did, instead of having a transfer bar in here, they have a system that runs from the trigger. There's a transfer bar that goes up into the hammer, and when you pull the trigger, if you'll see now, the firing pin won't move. It locks it. You can see how it's there, and then when I pull the trigger, watch the firing pin. See if it'll do it here. Well, it's not doing it. Normally you can see it. You can see it. It'll be back, and when you pull that, it pushes it forward. But yeah, it's like an internal transfer bar setup. So technically, this is safe to load 6 in. Traditionally, you load 5. You put 1, skip 1, and load 4. But yeah, you can load 6 in this, and it's safe because the firing pin isn't going to be protruding. Which, let me do this off camera. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube taking something apart. Let me slide this cylinder here out. See if I can get this out of here. Okay, we got the cylinder out. See if you can see. See how the firing pin is through? And that's solid. That's not going anywhere as long as I hold down on the trigger. If I let up on the trigger, see how that pushes back into the frame? Push the trigger, there's the firing pin. Let off the trigger. Yeah, it's got that little transfer bar, which is, it's kind of a neat idea. While I got this out, this is the post 1896 style where you got the bushing. So you do have your bushing that goes into your cylinder. You got your cross pin, which I can show you here once I get this back together. Line that back up. Okay. You do have your cross pin here. Before 1896, you would have had a screw in the front of the frame that held this in. That's your old, what they call a black powder frame. Really, they didn't change anything but to put a cross pin in for your cylinder pin. You do have the newer style on your extractor too. Normally you'd have the round, what they call the bullseye extractor, pre-1896, which if you watch a lot of the westerns that are pre-1896, they're using the post-1896 guns in those. They're not true to form on what they ought to be using. But hey, we'll give them a pass because, the black powder frame guns, the reproductions haven't been out that long. All in all, I mean, I'm loving it. I love the old Western guns. I grew up watching Westerns. John Wayne is, like, to me, the icon of Westerns. Clint Eastwood's a very close second. I love those guys. Their Westerns are awesome. Even Kevin Costner and Tom Selleck have done some really awesome Westerns. So if you're a Western fan and, you got all your other normal guns for daily use, concealed carry, home defense and all, grab you one of these Ubertis if you want something just kind of fun to play with. Price point on them is not too bad. It's a lot cheaper than an actual Colt, but they handle the same. They're just as much fun. So, like I always say, either we stand up for our rights or we can sit by and watch them go away. Y'all have an awesome rest of the day. We'll catch you later. Tennessee Frank out of here.